Thanks for joining us. This is The What Now. We begin in Nigeria, where at least 10 inmates have been rearrested and returned to the medium security custodial center, Suleja, after a jailbreak that led to the escape of 199 inmates last night. 119 inmates last night. Some sections of the facility walls were brought down by windstorm during a heavy downpour on Wednesday. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji says, although the search for some of the convicts continues, normalcy has been restored to Suleja.
The storm that happened, there was a breach of the outer wall of this facility, and some of the inmates, escaped. And of course, we've been able to retrieve, get about 10 back out of the 119. So we have 109 at large, and the manhunt is presently ongoing. We will do everything humanly possible to make sure that everyone is brought back. That's number one. And number two also is that we've also looked at the cause of the matter, because we must make sure that this does not happen again. And how can we prevent this? Obviously, we can see the walls are actually old, and unfortunately, there are certain responsibilities that we must take. And but the most important thing is we'll do everything possible to restore sanity and to ensure that this does not happen in any other facility. And also, the president has also always been talking about urbanization eating into our correctional centers. And this is a clear testimony. You can look at the environment. It shows that we need to relocate a lot of our correctional centers.
Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji speaking there on the inmates that escaped at the Suleja Custodial Center. Now, for more on this, our senior internal security and defense correspondent, Ivy Kanu, joins me on The What Now. Ivy, good to have you join us. I'm sure you have followed this story, since it broke, and we've seen the developments. 10 inmates have now been recovered, and then 109 still left. What do you make of this entire situation, and how easy will it be to recapture the remaining 109?
Now, I think my fear is the fact that we are not even looking at the larger picture. 109 out there on the loose, back into the society. By this time, I would have thought that on the social media, new media, everywhere, we should have their faces. We should have information calling for, we should have, adverts, announcements calling for information on, because they could get into anywhere, they could do anything at this point. Now, if you have 109 on the loose and nothing has been done, and to a large extent, I know the correctional center has a central database. Now, if you say the parameter, the building has been touched, the rains and all that, what about the central database where you can get their pictures and have them all over TV, have them on social media, so that people can immediately, start, being very conscious of their environment. If you're seeing a new face, you call the police, and the good thing is that he said they are trying to work with both the police and other security agencies. Now, why don't you make use of that? The social media is there. I kept checking if there are announcements on these people, and there's nothing of such.
With their details, pictures, and everything.
Especially their pictures at this point. Especially their pictures, and you just sustain it on TV everywhere, and corporate social responsibility. TVs will announce it with their faces.
Especially because this happened since last night. But again, 10 has been recaptured, 109. Let's assume that you get everyone back. You're bringing the 10 back to the place where windstorm has destroyed. I was to say that there's no repeat of what just happened, especially because I don't think that place has been fixed between last night and today. So what is the practice by your experience?
We have over 200 correctional centers across Nigeria, and I think around Abuja and its environ. They could actually, you know, when they are recaptured or rearrested, and I know some will even walk back, because the truth is that some of those inmates really don't have any place to go. So some will walk back, you know, and when they do, there must be a mechanism where they can be shared to other correctional centers. But we also saw that in works, they've started rebuilding and all that. So I'm sure the minister is putting in place, he's expecting over 109 people to come back. If they can't recapture them today, they'll get them back later. So they are going to work, you know, and put everything in place to ensure that they have enough room for them to come back.
So I went to, because one of the things he said was, you know, he said the president has always talked about how urbanization has eaten into, you know, some of these correctional centers, in that they are now at the heart of the cities, and that's not supposed to be so. Let me get your thought on that, because again, by your experience, you cover all of this, the implication of that.
Now, Akwa Ibom State, I think, has moved their correctional center further into like the interior part of Akwa Ibom. That's how it should be, because urbanization will keep happening. You can't stop that, but you have to keep moving. Like what just happened here, a facility that was built 1914. Do you understand how many years after? You'll expect that these things will happen. And another wake-up call here, especially for the ministry, is for the minister to, I don't know if he has done a tour of the prisons. If he has, and it's a time for him to do it all over, because the rains are here. So how many buildings are we going to, how many perimeters are we going to have collapse, and we have these people all over the places? So I think the urgent call is for him to move around, take a look at the prisons all over again, especially at this time. We are already battling with so many things, if you know what I mean. So he should do that and ensure that these people do not escape.
What we're trying to capture, you know, criminals, and we're having more criminals back in society.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your analysis and your time, as always. I know you are staying on the story as well. Senior Internal Security and Defense Correspondent Ivy Kanu.